let's look to the future. Everybody's heard about 5G. What does 5G mean? What's it going to do for us? What's Verizon's role in this evolution?
So 5G is the next generation of wireless, which is going to be transformational. It has two very distinct attributes that make it so. Number one is latency. It's very low latency. Things happen very, very quickly in 5G, in the 5G world. Number two is bandwidth. Bandwidth is dependent on the spectrum used. But for instance, Verizon Wireless is deploying millimeter wave for 5G outdoors. That will not be the application for indoors. But think of smart cities, think of driverless cars with many cameras, radar, LiDAR, and all kinds of different data going back and forth from that car to ensure that it stays safely and that it crosses the intersection on time, right? So many of the issues with traffic today will be resolved that way. We'll translate that to many different industries and obviously in building systems, automating the in-building systems, virtual meeting rooms, holograms to be able to talk to others, virtual reality. There are many different applications. As we move forward over the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, usage on 4G will start declining and 5G will start picking up. Much like it's happened, and you can see the graph there earlier on 1G, 2G, 3G, and 4G, right? Most of the data that the 3G networks 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago were carrying a lot of the data on the wireless carriers is being now transferred to 4G. Therefore, the spectrum goes to 4G and the spectrum will go to 5G as well.
Yeah, just specific 5G to in-building commercial real estate as a whole. I think what 5G is going to offer, specifically this audience right here. I think we'll see it first evolve into the industrial space where, that latency or that time when you request data and the time you get that data back, that latency piece is super, super short. When you got robotics and different manufacturing processes where that's super critical. I think that's where we'll start to see it evolve initially. And then into, as Frank alluded to, smart cities. I like to look at really into the smart building. And I think we'll see what 5G really offers today. Everybody has a cell phone, they have a laptop, they connect. When we get into 5G and this Internet of Things, which I'm sure you've seen up here a few times, we've got to connect thousands, if not tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of devices to this network, which we don't do today. These are going to be sensors and cameras and different telemetry components within the building that managers, air quality, energy, people in, people out, different things like that, security, whatever it is.
My question would be, to get ready for 5G, does a building owner or a major tenant in the building, do you need to have in-building wireless capability to be able to function with 5G?
Yeah, I really see 5G as really a journey and not a destination. We're already starting to see some of the carrier aggregation, combining all those disparate spectrum groups into one so it produces more than each one would do individually, I think is a step towards 5G. So I think we'll start to see some of the benefits sooner rather than later of 5G, and I think we can start to incorporate some of those IoT things even today, even before we get true 5G into the buildings. Which
as new generations of radios come for 4G, they will be upgradable to 5G via software. Definitely, the fiber optics that needs to be deployed to connect all of the antennas, because they are active antennas, they're massive MIMO is what is referred to, which is basically up to 100 antennas and to 100 small transmitters and receivers and antennas into a little square. In the case of millimeter wave, in the case of mid-band is a little bit larger, and so therefore it scaled down the number of antennas that can be done. But all of that is applicable and will be useful when buildings evolving to the 5G side. A lot of the infrastructure that is being deployed, right, to support 4G today.